What's going on, ghouls and gals? Welcome to the Everything Paranormal Show with your hosts, Josh Morris and Stacy Talich. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
I know it's been a little bit since you've seen me and Stacy up here. Um, so this last part of the December, it's been like the holidays, and I've been doing a lot of gaming, like streaming on the games, and it's just been crazy with the holidays. But welcome to the 2022 year review. So this is where we're going to talk about pretty much this last year, like where the Everything Paranormal show has evolved, and maybe some of the new direction stuff or some of the future projects. We're just going to talk a little bit about all those things. Don't go away because there's a lot of fun things. Terry Lynn in the chat. Hey, baby. So lots of things to discuss, lots of fun. Stacy, so let's talk, I guess, just kind of like within the context of the channel itself, looking back over some of the shows and things like that. What's kind of your general initial thoughts of where we were in January and then over this past year with the show?
well, we've covered a lot of ground. I mean, you want to talk about the realm of paranormal? I think we've hit it all. We've hit, psychic stuff, remote viewing, UFOs, Bigfoot, Rougarou, the Cajun werewolf, haunted locations. Had some excellent guests that have been places that really were, haunted AF, that, you know, they brought some serious evidence to, to share. So it's like, hey, Terry Lynn, you've covered the gamut. I mean, you could have turned this last year into a whole season on Discovery Channel if we'd had the funding for that sort of thing. But you've hit a lot of ground.
Well, and I think both of us really did too, a lot. I mean, we really, we did a lot. I mean, if you think about it, in fact, I'm pulling up, just trying to look at even sort of the live streams, and that's okay. I don't even have the ability to share the screen right now, but that's okay. So,
Got the haunted tattoo place that you went to. You had locations that you've been to with the channel. Granted, I wasn't on there at the time, but you you know
well,
went
I
on.
mean, really, the thing is, when you look at, like, I went all the way back to 11 months ago, and it's funny because the video, you and I are on here, so it's not like you just popped in this year. You have been on here even back over a year ago in 2021. So you have been with me through all of 2022, Stacy.
Okay.
I know it seems it's been a while, but and then even back in 2021, remember we had Bob Fountain, we were doing the some of the Paranormal Council, which I love that idea. I really wish that could have. I think when we started that out, I think that would have been a solid show if we had a regular 4 panel, of experts. Like we started out with me, you, Sean, and Bob. I mean, that was a really good group of guys here, individuals. And then, of course, everybody has busy lives. It's kind of tough to put something together. But we were doing the Paranormal Council toward the end of 2021. And we had, I had a lot
Sean brought a lot to the table too. I mean, he, as far as dichotomy with what I know and what I understand, Sean is, he's an expert in the field, for sure. And he brought a lot to the table in, high quality information, and not just, somebody who is thumping a Bible.
Right.
He's an academic. So
Well, and that's one thing I really love about Sean is, he's the type of person that will have a conversation. And
mhm.
in his position, there's a lot of people in his exact position they're not willing to have those type of conversations. Um, they'll conversate with you, but it's always like, I guess the way I would say it is, most people in Sean's position seem like they're always trying to work the angle of trying to sell you on Christianity and stuff. Again, and I'm not saying anything against Christianity. I'm not. I'm just saying there's a lot of them that when they speak to people, they're just so programmed to like maneuver the conversation in that direction, trying to also sort of recruit. And sometimes it can be a turnoff, and it's like frustrating, especially when you're just trying to have an academic discussion about some of these things and you just want to hear some genuine talk. And that's what I loved about Sean Carter, was that he was genuine. When you talk to him and he shared his opinions, it wasn't necessarily, for a biased reason in that sense. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
You
Well, he wasn't judging McPants. The whole idea of, he understands things strictly from a biblical point of view, and a lot of people in his position will go with the fundamentalist. It's written in black and white. This is the way it is, and if you say anything that goes outside that, you are demonic and evil. That's the position of a lot of people, and he wasn't that way. He,
Yeah.
brought it to an intellectual level on why things were the way that they were, and it's understandable at that point. People can relate to that, and he brought that, and I really appreciated the time that we had.
Yeah. And so looking at, and again, I wish I could share the screen, but unfortunately, guys, I'm paying for the free version of StreamYard now. Um, so
I'm paying for the free version.
I'm not sharing the screen, but I just want to kind of like point over some things here. So as we were ending 2021, you were starting to make more regular appearances.
Mhm.
And then as we got into the beginning of 2022, we had Paranormal in the Year 2022 first show. That was the title of the show. As far as, even though there was several other videos actually where you were starting to make more appearances, but they just weren't as frequent. And then, but we covered topics. I'm just going to start kind of hitting some of the topics in like headlines or the titles. So we had, are we living in an alternate timeline? And what if we are ghosts? Like, what if we are the ghosts? All right. So look at that kind of paranormal. We had when we talked about a contract for your soul online. Remember when you can sell your soul online, and we talked about that, world events when we were doing some of the Dowsing Rod sessions, understanding paranormal and the methods. We also had Matt from the paranormal consultant. We had Matt guest star with us. He kind of filled in on with us, did like a three-way video. And of course we were doing some tarot reading and pendulums. We did quite a few of those, contacting spirits. Yeah, we were doing a whole slew of those. A lot of people did like them though. I mean, they were okay. Tarot, a lot of tarot videos and things. We did a ghost busting in real life. We talked about things that you should know before you start. We were helping people with IRL stuff. Of course, that's around the time when Ghostbusters Afterlife came out, so it was fun that we did a video on ghost busting in real life. Again, more tarot stuff that you and I were doing, daily reading, contacting spirits. Is Hollywood capturing paranormal accurately? Are they even close? So we did some of that. Discussing the dead, paranormal news, and updates about the channel. And that was, as we were sort of getting into about the halfway point. why psychics are wrong. Live discussions why. Revealing why. So we talked about that. I don't know why we talked about why psychics are wrong. Do you remember what we were talking about that one?
You remember in Terry Lynn, we're going through Facebook and TikTok, and you had these guys that were just, throwing stuff out, and they weren't really making contact. They were taking donations and saying, "Yeah, your boyfriend is, he's trash. Leave him," and then they would move on to the next one for another $10. And it wasn't. It was a complete scam of what they were doing, but they were making hand over fist, doing readings live on the air for $10 donations, and they'd spend 30 seconds actually doing a reading.
Right.
It was, crazy.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we were talking about the basically the quick minute psychics.
Yeah.
Okay. And we had let's see. Why psychics are wrong. UFOs. We talked about UFOs exist and the government released proof. Remember when they started to release that? We talked about that. We talked about ghosts can affect you in more ways than you know. Then we had Josh from Southern Afterlife on. We had Brian from Black Mass Paranormal on. Then we talked about Bob Lazar. Like when we kind of looked back over Bob Lazar and again with that UFO stuff, we were kind of trying to cover that. A lot of people were talking about things like that, and Bob Lazar came back into the spotlight because of all the UFO release stuff. And
yeah, he did a Joe Rogan interview for like 3 hours, and Joe Rogan, was like, I could not find any bullshit in his face at all. He was being completely honest the whole time, and that's what freaked him out, is that he was completely stone cold, honest about everything that he said and everything that he saw, and Joe Rogan really wanted to catch him in something and he couldn't.
Right.
And that's what freaked out Joe Rogan.
Well, and Terry Lynn said in chat, she said that they're still doing, all the fake psychic stuff on TikTok, and makes her ill. It says making a lot of money, or should I say stealing a lot of money from the gullible. And I think this all ties into that. And again, we could make a whole episode on this because we have, but that really ties into even what's going on. Like right now, there's a pretty good sized controversy going on in the paranormal community. There's a channel, Ben and Laney's channel. It's been making the circulation. There's been some beef going on because, one of the debunkers, they decided to start. It's too much to really explain right now. But what I am saying is right now there's the debunking community and Ben and Laney channel are going at it. And it's not good because Ben and Laney have been, caught faking stuff. Mm-hmm. There's video evidence that the debunkers have proven. It's not a fact. It's not an opinion. They found actual evidence that, hey, you guys are faking videos, and they're trying to pass them off as real. And so this is always that debate about these home YouTube channels that have 100,000+ subscribers, and they're making all these videos about how their home is haunted and all this other stuff, and people genuinely feel bad for these people, sometimes even donating money. They're subbing to them, they're sharing to them, to their friends, going, oh my God, this poor family. And they're not saying anywhere in their stuff, they may say, the only thing they may say is for entertainment only. But it's like a small little thing. But you can say that about anything. I mean, I even put that in my videos, even when it's really a real investigation. And I'm not faking anything. I put for entertainment purposes. I mean, I do that as a disclaimer, period. But you can't just say that covers it. You can't do that. So, especially when you are trying to pass it off, you need to say, if you're making videos and you're trying to make like a reality one, like a Blair Witch style, where or like Paranormal Activity movie, and you're trying to make like your own, like you are being invaded by something and you're faking some stuff for that content, then it should say somewhere in the description that this is a fictional work of art and this is entertainment. This is, in a short film, something like that. And that's been the biggest argument between the debunking community and the fake paranormal channels. They're like, look, we don't care if you're faking it. The debunkers like, we don't care. But when you're trying to pass it off or you're really trying to lean into making people believe, there's always going to be a small section of your audience that's going to truly believe. They're going to pray for you. They're probably going to send you money. They're going to do these things. And that's taking advantage of people.
Yes.
And also, like Terry Lynn was pointing out too about is doxing, and again, like I said, I really this whole thing going on between Cole Spector and Ben and Laney's channel, it's you really, and I would tell people if you're watching this right now, go look at Cole Spector's channel and go watch his videos on it. He's got some amazing, they're very long, but he really breaks down a lot of who he really is, like who he is, the stories he's gone through and still going through. And the guy's gone through some stuff. I mean, I know we all have gone through some things, but the guy, talks about his things that he's gone through and really lays everything out. And he kind of lays out the case and everything before him. But in any case, and again, when you have people like Ben and Laney, who's a much bigger channel, and then they're coming on there and they're threatening to, it's like one of those things, Stacy, like the classic, well, I know who you are, and I know you have a wife and 2 kids, and I know where you live, but I'm saying that I found that information out in just a couple of minutes. Imagine if somebody else did that. Like, I wouldn't do anything, but what if somebody else did, so you might want to check yourself. I mean, that's a freaking veiled threat.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't say those things. You can't. Anyways, like I said, that could be a whole video on its own is what's going on. But my point of all of this, and Terry Lynn talks about the bullying and it's illegal. And again, like I said, we could do a whole video on that. You guys, that's why I said, if you want to get it, if you want to see what's going on, you want to support Cole Spector, or you could go. No, don't even say that you would go support Ben and Laney, because honestly, once you really look at multiple videos and you kind of see it before you, anyways, but go check it out. The point is, the whole thing I brought this up is that in the paranormal community, these things happen. And so I think that's one thing that we talked about was the whole faking and the deception. I faked paranormal, but I did it for a show, and it has a disclaimer. My show on Paraflix is part fictional, but I don't consider it truth and fiction, although there is legitimate paranormal in there. There's fictional elements, so I just overall just say, hey, this is fictional, even though, yes, I really go and film investigations, at these locations, and I legitimately do capture some paranormal, but it's kind of a mix. So therefore, I'd rather people just think, hey, I just want to go watch something that's exciting and, it could be fake or something, but I wanted to think like the Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity or something like that, something for fun, to go and watch. Whereas like on my YouTube channel, when I go out to like the Eaton House and places like that, these are like legitimate investigations, even if they're not full blown, like scientific style, but they're just like a ghost hunt to maybe help people or go into some of these situations. And those are the ones I don't fake. And I let people, like, that's on my YouTube channel. And that's the ones I let people watch and determine what they want and, all those things. If I had started faking my stuff, I'd probably get more views. I'm just saying, real paranormal is kind of boring sometimes. So anyways, but guys, the last thing I'm going to say about the whole Cole Spector and Ben Lane thing is that if you're watching this, go give Cole Spector some love. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So anyways, back to the year review. So we talked about contacting the dead again. We do a lot of dowsing rod sessions as well, and in my opinion, again, I know that the debunkers aren't real big on like dowsing rod sessions and things like that. I don't blame them, but I can legitimately say whenever I do dowsing rod sessions, and Stacy, like we tell people, hey, the spirits, we're just showing you what the spirits say to us. Like take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't necessarily mean that this really is your dad talking or really is your mom talking or whatever. I don't ask them for money. If they want to donate stuff, that's up to them. Like we have that in the comments, but we don't really sit there and be like, hey, for $5, I'm going to tell you or contact your mom, you know?
Yeah.
So
it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Even if you did do that, it doesn't work like that. So
we had, John from Exploration Unknown. He was on. Then as we get more and more recent, closer to us, again, we just did some, in a lot of our live shows, even the topics. And this is what I tell people, like if you just stick it out through our show, we have some like long shows, I know, like usually an hour and a half to 2 hours or sometimes an hour. But if you stick it out, there's so many little things that we say in there. It's not just that one topic. Like we tend to cover a lot of things that we just don't put in the title as well. So we try to stick to a theme, don't we? We try.
Yeah, stream of consciousness, whatever is happening, we just talk about it.
Right. Just like tonight, like even just going through, we started getting off on a few of the, a few of the things. But I did have to bring up the Ben and Laney and Cole, thing. That's.
I actually haven't watched any of their stuff yet, so
yeah, it just is something that was started cycling through the debunking channels, and like it just been blowing up. Like anytime you get like drama like that, Terry Lynn's like even politics bleed through. Yeah, like because even the politics, we sometimes bleed through on our channel. We can't help it. It's tough. So yeah, we started doing a few little reaction videos to some of the most scary Randonautica videos, the top 5 scary ghost videos. We started doing a few of those. Slapped ham reaction, stuff like that. We did some of that, which wasn't too bad. We actually did pretty good on some of the views. Was live from a ghost hunt when I took oh god. Yeah.
The tattoo place.
Huh?
The tattoo place?
Yeah. So when I was live at the tattoo place, she couldn't last more than 5 minutes. Oh my god. So yeah, she was poor girl. She was so scared. Argentina girl. And then I took Lucius. Lucius came, and so I did that. I did some live there when I did the K2 session. And that K2 session, man, that's really underrated. I wish more people would see that. Maybe I should have probably labeled that better. We got K2 responses live in here, but yeah, that was that. Remember when I was live and like I had the K2 meter and we were actually getting responses live. Yeah. I mean, that was awesome. Then we did a show on ghost baggage. Remember, see, these are like I'm proud of some of the stuff that you and I talk about, because sometimes we cover some of these subjects you don't always see other channels talk about, these odds and end things like ghost baggage. People don't realize all that spiritual gunk that builds up sometimes, and having to cleanse yourself. I'm doing like cleansing motions, right? So, but I talk with my hands, folks. I can't help it. But like the cleansing stuff and that paranormal junk, and these are the things that we talk about,
warding yourself, warding the house, warding different rooms, and how to protect yourself when you're most vulnerable, things of that kind. I mean, we did it all.
Yeah, and then we get into CreepyCon. So we talked about CreepyCon, where I reviewed that. Of course, I was there as a celebrity guest. It was really cool. CreepyCon 2023 is coming up. I don't know. I am in talks. I don't. We'll see. I don't want to say anything, but I don't know. It would be nice if I could get another guest spot there. That'd be really cool. I'd love to go there. It was a great time. I really felt like
You got
me
a
and
video
Terry-
of some of that. You got a video of some of your talk. You got a video of some of your talk and, rebroadcast it here.
Yeah, I did record. Problem is I think what I really need to do is I was trying to record with my DSLR camera, which is great for filming, but it's only like half-hour chunks. DSLR is only, at least the ones I have, and a lot of them only really record for about half-hour intervals. So unless I have somebody there, like helping me to like, 30 minutes is up, stop, hit record again, and start a new file. So I got chunks of it and it's on my hard drive. I just haven't, it's just not really that great. Like, as far as it's nothing, I don't think it can really be, you miss all the good stuff, especially when we did the live Dowsing Rod session. And when I did the panel for Spirit Communication, I did a Dowsing Rod session, and God's honest truth, I really did not know about this situation. But we did a Dowsing Rod session, and during the session, we ended up talking to this like some female, I think she might have been in her 20s, and like all the details were coming through, and I'm just like, okay. And then someone in the audience, one of our, they're the ones that told me about the elephant trainer, the female that got killed, that got trampled. And so it was like it matched all the stuff that we were getting on the Dowsing Rods, but I didn't know. I'm not from Knoxville. I never heard about it. Honestly, that's what kind of blew me away, See, because sometimes people think like just because we're using the Dowsing Rods that we're in on everything and that we like, he probably knew about, so he's trying to manipulate and do all this crap. But the it's funny because when things like that happens, like I'm blown away and I'm the one holding the rods. It's amazing to me when those type of things happen.
That's the thing. I was just talking to my wife earlier about this. There was a point where we were coinciding. I was dropping shells and you were doing Dowsing Rods, and they were in agreement.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing where we were getting conflicting stuff. It was the dead were saying the same thing to me as they were saying it to you in two different methods. And, all it takes is integrity.
Right.
If you have integrity to say that this is what something is, as it's shown to you, you will get more of that.
Right.
Start leaning into it and saying, wow, it is actually meaning this when it actually doesn't,
right.
Things like
the spirits are saying you should pay me money. What?
Yeah. If you're being honest, the dead work with you far. This is why we were talking about before with these assholes who are, conning people out of money. That's karma that's going to come back on them, that they have no clue on the shitstorm that's going to fall out of the sky when the dead get tired of their shit, because they themselves are you're putting words in their mouth and scamming people to do it. That kind of karma, I'm sorry, it will come back in a really ugly way. And these Ben and Laney, if they're doing the same kind of thing, they're
karma.
In a world of hurt.
Yeah.
They just don't know it yet.
So, but yeah, like Terry Lynn said in the comments too about CreepyCon, like, her and my son was there too. And I do want to cover that real quick because look, I mean, first of all, I've always considered Terry Lynn a part of like, just because you guys don't see her on camera, when she's my other half on this. Like when we did investigations together, sometimes she can't always go because, now life's a little different and we have a son at home and things like that. And, but bottom line is she's out there too at times. And like CreepyCon was one of those, I was proud, like that was one of my favorite conventions because we were all there together. Like Terry Lynn and Christian really shined. Like my son was amazing helping out with the like money, like running the booth because we were selling crystals. We were also selling Terry Lynn's. It was like the debut of her spirit boards, her homemade Ouija boards. And so, and she was talking to people. I was talking to people. We were probably the most personable celebrities there as far as special guests. Like I said, we're not famous, but as special guests, like Celebrity Row. Now, again, I'm not knocking any of the other special guests that were there. If they somehow watch this video, I'm not knocking them. They were all decent enough people. But I'm just saying, in general, we were so approachable, and we were just like talking to people and really proactive. Whereas, you would kind of look and see a lot of the celebrity guests would just be kind of sitting back in their chair. A lot of them had grumpy faces on. And then, if somebody did walk up to them, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Do you want to buy my shirt or whatever?" I don't know. Whereas like we were like standing up a lot, just talking to people. Like I said, my son was personal. Terry Lynn, it was just all a great experience. We did good as a family, and that's why I loved it so much, because as a family, like we were there. Now, of course, we probably ended up getting COVID after that. Like we got home, Christian was like super sick, our son, and then like Terry Lynn pretty much caught it like a day later or something. She started showing signs, and then I started last, which is usually what happens in our family. It's like our son, Terry Lynn, then me. So,
well, if he was handling all the money, then he had all the. He was touching his hands,
so right? Well, and I think, and he didn't realize too, like because we used the Square, payment stuff, and we had the credit card reader, and I don't think he really realized that he didn't have to grab the credit card from people every time and swipe it or insert the chip. He could have just had the people insert the chip or swipe it. You know what I mean? Like and that's fun. Like I said, we learned a little bit. And we had sanitizer. We were using sanitizer quite a bit, but it happens. You're around a ton of people, you're going to get sick. Maybe it was the flu. Maybe it was so who knows? But in any case, CreepyCon, that was a huge thing for us. We loved it. That was the end of August. We did some more contacting spirits with dowsing rods. That's when you start seeing me starting getting into playing some games here these last few months. We had Rhonda Cardell on when she had debuted Season of the Witch. That
was a good show. I like that.
I still have yet to see it. Like I know Terry and I talked about,
No, I mean her on your show. That was
okay, yeah. That was a good show.
Her show is for noobs, on witchcraft. If you don't know anything about witchcraft, that's what her show is for.
Right.
If you are at all into witchcraft and have studied for more than 6 months, you're not going to really learn anything.
Right.
But it's cool that, a local actually got to do something like that,
Right.
And it was professionally done. Oh my God. The cinematography on it was excellent. I was really shocked with that.
I know. I really want that camera guy. I always forget his name. God, I always forget his name. I picture him. I met him and his wife. I know where they live and all that. And they have one of those like detective type YouTube channels where like police, like cold case stuff. But yeah, his work's really good, and he does really good work. I want to say he even uses the camera and lens that I wanted. That's how I kind of got talking with him one time when I was at his house fixing his internet. That's how I met him originally, and then he was like, I looked and he had a couple tripods, but they were like the nice fluid head tripods, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's like professional level. That's not even like, that's not your normal noob, or sometimes you might see those, like if you're like in a really rich person's house, and I'm not trying to knock his house or anything, they have a nice, but it's not like a mansion, but so I'm like, So I was like, hey, what do you, you know? And then he's told me, and next thing you know, he showed me like a sample of his work. And then he told me he was working on a documentary involving some kind of like paranormal type stuff, like with witches. I'm like, really? And then we got talking, come to find out, Rhonda Caudell and all this other stuff. And I'm like, so we made that connection there. And that was weird because then even they worked with John from Exploration Unknown shortly after that. Like I was talking with John one day and he was like, hey, do you know these people? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I've been to their house. So it's like, it just keeps me in a small world sometimes.
Yeah, you need to team up with him on a project because he just knocked it out of the park, as far as I'm concerned. Documentary style.
Oh yeah. Well, and I talked to him because I told him about a couple of things projects that I want to do, and especially with uh, the concept trailer that I'm trying to film, and it doesn't take a lot, just like a weekend, almost. And if I get everything organized, I pretty much could probably knock out the filming in like a weekend, and it would just be a matter of editing. So where are we at? So as we get toward the end of the year, of course, I started doing a lot of gamings, and then we really got into a lot of contacting spirits, like Dowsing Rod sessions. Remember, we just really started doing a lot of live contacts for a while there. The origins of Halloween, not the movie, but the origins of actually the Halloween. I always love doing that every year, even though I could just have it, I could replay it every year, but I do. I like going through the whole origins and, really, working back all the way to like even the Celts and things like that. And I think even you brought up some stuff even that predates the Celts, the Samhain festival, and just working our way up through the history of time and seeing the different key elements that came together and this sort of amalgamation or this mash of like everything throughout the hundreds of years to come together for Halloween.
Well, I just think it's fascinating that you're talking about cultures from all over the world that don't have any contact with each other because travel is relatively limited. Everything is still in a tribalistic format with cultures with the Celtics and then the Romans, the Babylonians, and even in the Mediterranean and the Middle East, they're relatively segregated. I mean, and then you have the Mayans, they're completely cut off from everyone, and they all celebrate the same thing around the same date, time of year, honoring the dead. It's like there's something in our memory, our tradition. Something traumatic happened literally at that time of year to where they needed to honor everybody who died at that particular point in time. And, religions and, cultures literally evolved around this one concept. And it had to do with something that fell out, something that happened when the Pleiadian constellation was at the highest in the sky, which was Halloween.
Right.
And and granted it shifts because the earth wobbles, over a period of time, but it's that constellation that is in the sky when people are celebrating this stuff, the Day of the Dead. It's really weird that it is so engraved in every culture going back till, things, the written word was actually invented. They
Right.
always had this one tradition. And, pre-agrarian even, like the solstices and the equinoxes became popular in religions when we started planting food instead of hunter-gatherer. But before that, they were still celebrating Days of the Dead, Halloween style, back when we were hunter-gatherers. And that
Right.
carried forward. So, I mean, I just find that fascinating. It's like, what the hell happened that they have to keep honoring the dead every year at that time of year? So
Now, so, but yeah, Terry Lynn said, she said, hell, my boards are the opening scene of the CreepyCon commercial. Yes. And that was the thing. Like, her boards were featured in the CreepyCon commercial, like on the video if you go to their website.
I'll have to look at that. I haven't seen that.
But yeah, and I would also say too that guys, if you want to look at buying one of Terry Lynn's boards, now we've kind of slacked because of the holidays. I'm not gonna lie. All right. But we're gonna get back on to like not making them. Like we have like a bunch of boards. We Terry Lynn's been working on them. But as far as like posting like social media type stuff, we've kind of slacked off a little bit on all that. But listen, guys, seriously, if you want to look at buying board, we're going to be posting more over this next month. And so I'll put it up here. So if you go to Etsy and then you type in BeyondDeVeil Designs, that's the name of the store, you should be able to find Terry Lynn Spirit boards. All right. You should be able to find her boards. And there you go. So I'll leave that link up there for you guys a little bit if you need to write it down. But go there. And then also like on TikTok, I want to say it's like Beyond the Veil 2022 or something like that. But you can also see a lot of the boards as we post them, because a lot of times we post them on TikTok first. We have like the little TikTok video, and then later we get them on Etsy. So if you guys like them and you want to see more, definitely go there. Now also, so as we kind of finish up the year, the last month of this year, I've been doing a lot of gaming videos. But one thing I also wanted to do too is I want to talk a little bit about, now those were all live videos I talked about. Some of my other videos I've done not a whole lot. The one thing about 2022 is I didn't get out and do as many live investigations as I wanted to do. I did do 3 episodes of my Paraflix show called Para Explorers, but only one of those is released. There's still 2 more in the editing room that I've completely dropped the ball in, and I apologize. It's just been so this second half of the year has been so crazy. And then, but anyways, so as we kind of got into, I did do the Morristown when I went out there in Morristown and did that one, so you can see that one under the video section. Also, when we did the Indian Cave Resort with Exploration Unknown, you can watch that investigation, which is really cool. We even sort of uncover like a potential old murder that was never solved. Really cool. So if you want to check that out, that's always one that it did pretty good. Got triple digit views compared to some of the other things.
A lot of things haven't happened this year, Terry Lynn. I'm still waiting on some events to take place, and it looks like 2023 is going to be that year. So I'm, not making any predictions because this isn't the prediction show, but hopefully 2023.
Well, I'm just going to draw a random card right here. What does this say? I don't even see it. Oh,
Justice.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just drew a random tarot card for you. Okay. So
I am waiting on a court case, though.
Huh?
I am waiting on a court case.
Maybe. So some other videos that I did through the year earlier in the 2022, we did have one that we did a contact the deceased, but we had to record it and then like release it later on. So it was live originally, but it ended up on my videos. Now, also Terry Lynn and I, we filmed a couple of reviews of some crystal places. One of our most popular videos in 2022 was the Fad Keys. Fad Keys, the review for Fad Keys. We've got 3.7 thousand, so 3,700 views on the Fad Keys. And y'all didn't subscribe. Shame on you using my reviews. Anyway, I'm just kidding. We had the Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. I had that video on there. I thought I took that down just because I just thought it was like whatever. I just thought I was past it. Yaya Gems was another review. That one did okay, but those were like 195 views compared to the Fad Keys. I guess just a lot of people were checking out Fad Keys. Of course, the tattoo shop, both nights that I went and investigated there, and really is about it. The giveaway stuff, but that's really about it for 2022 as far as all the reviews. Like I said, a lot of gaming toward the end. Um, I don't even remember where we started the year with. I'm sure I could probably get into the analytics, but right now we're sitting at 12 over 1,200 subscribers. So I can't complain. You guys have been a good audience. You've helped me slowly grow. I didn't go viral or anything this past year. Um, may or may not be good. Some people go viral for the wrong reasons. So, but you guys seriously, like most of you guys that watch my videos, you guys have been pretty diehard and really helping me out. So I, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all very, very much. But that's a little bit on that. I did some shorts on YouTube. I've tried out their new short section. The shorts do pretty well. I had my
Ladies
yeah,
giveaway.
she said, "Oh my God," Terry Lynn said, "Oh my God, you need to ship that ladies giveaway." That's right. When we did the giveaway, so the person that won it, I've got to track down the address. I think I got to get with Rich Wheeler again on it. And I've got to track down that address again and make sure we got to get that out to her. So thank you for reminding me. We'll get that out there. But I think the best short that I did was when I did the video on when Spirit Halloween, like the the blow up dude was just like leaning on the awning, like there was like that blow up guy, like you see at the dealerships that flaps up and down. Well, he's just like chilling on this awning at Spirit Halloween, and he's just like, and I just put sometimes you just need a break, and that actually got over 2,000 views on that. Had 400 and some views on the one at Dollywood. And a few other little scary things. My checking out Biohazard outside of the morgue. Stacy, you probably didn't see that. I don't know if you saw it in my YouTube shorts because you have YouTube.
Yeah.
So my YouTube shorts, huh?
I didn't see it in the shorts. The biohazard.
Yeah, it's called checking out Biohazard outside the morgue. So it's a video of me actually going up to a real morgue, like in a hospital, and outside the door of the morgue.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that did pretty good. But for a while there, like now I will say now, not so much like on YouTube, but when I injured my leg and I fell over that wall and I took a nasty tumble and I had my leg all and I posted like the video of it. And like that video did really well on TikTok. Apparently there's a lot of people that like to look at that type of stuff. So if you ever get injured, film it and then put it on TikTok because apparently there's a lot of people that like to watch that stuff. So.
Well, then there's that one where the Renaulting, the you go to and there's a guy standing there in the parking lot staring at you.
Yeah.
That one was kind of weird.
Yeah, I've got another TikTok video. I've got it's pretty cool that I'm getting ready to post. And I'll probably post it on YouTube Shorts. It's a little 30-second kind of clip of I found a cool place out in the middle of nowhere, or I found a cool looking place, and let me see if I can. I don't think you guys will be able to. This is like a little tease. If I can get it to come up. But let's see if I can. Hold on. I don't know. Okay. We rewind it. See if I can show you guys.
Okay. Where's that at?
It's in the oh god. Anyway, so yeah, but it's I don't know exactly where it's in Virginia, Southwest Virginia, but it's in I'm trying to remember. Was that Chilhowie or was that Meadowview? Somewhere between Chilhowie and Meadowview, Virginia. So so somewhere there, I came across it and I thought, man, and like to me, it's really cool to see a place like that, run down. But to me, I also think about the history, like what when that place was in its prime, back in the day,
Mhm.
what stories did it hold? That's what I always think about when I see those old places. I mean, yeah, they're creepy and I'd love to investigate because I'm sure, again, there may be some residual paranormal or whatever. Uh, and that's what I love doing. Now, that place is pretty unsafe. I mean, you saw the big holes in the corner, like in some pretty structurally, you really don't want to be walking around in there because that thing could just come down on you. So I just filmed it as wherever I thought was like, just so you could see inside, but just seeing like the walls, the old staircase, I don't know, like you just think like what happened in that house, what stories did that really hold for whatever families, or was it good times, bad times, I mean, uh it's just it's crazy to see stuff like that and then to think like it's still trying to stay standing up, still trying to be there, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. So,
You know, a place that I would like to investigate, it's actually in Bristol, is the Speedway. The NASCAR Speedway.
yeah.
I was looking into the research on that place, and there have been quite a few really ugly deaths, car wrecks at Bristol. I mean, some of the most famous ones happened at Bristol.
Right.
They even filmed the Rolling Thunder with Tom Cruise in Bristol. Um, some of the stuff that the original way back in the day, it's like one of the oldest speedways that there is. The old 1957 Chevys and things of that kind, that they were, these tanks that they were, racing in. The worst crashes happened there, and a lot of people, even in the stands, the cars went off from the racetrack into the stands and like were killing people. And
Right.
doing an investigation at the speedway, you know, that'd be like, I don't know. I think that would be awesome as far as being able to get EVPs and things of that side, because the sound effects or the acoustics that are there, and when at a time when no one is around, you don't want to do it when stuff's going on, but
Well,
uh,
I mean, the funny thing is I don't know how it is lately. I have not like I haven't been there in a while. Like, but I know when we first moved here, we were kind of blown away because like you could just pull on up in there and then you could literally like park and just they had like the gates open. Like you could just walk out into the bleachers and walk around the whole track, all through the bleachers, everywhere. You just couldn't go onto the track, but
uh-huh.
you could still walk around anywhere inside the stadium. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So if they still can do that, hell, I might have to go out there in the daytime and when there's really nobody around, because it literally like we were like me and Terry Lynn and Christian was like the only ones there. Like at least it seemed like it really, and it was just it was nuts. So,
Well, they
but
just
then they had a
recently
cool track tour
paved
for like $5.
they just recently paved it too. It's like it was a dirt track for the
Right.
longest time, and uh, they were actually advertising that they were the longest standing NASCAR dirt track. It's like, why would that be cool? You know,
And then
dirt.
they brought it back.
Yeah.
I guess apparently they've been doing dirt racing. I don't know. I haven't been watching NASCAR anymore, so
Huh.
but yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. Like one of these times, Taylor said, "Come on over, Stacy." She said, "Also, Tennessee High School is haunted as well." And that's true. There is a lot of places here. Now, I've got some things on the historical district. Um, I was just over like off of like streets like Johnson Street, Solar Street, these type of places. There's homes along there, and I've been talking to some people, possibly an old abandoned school. Once the deal gets closed on that, that'd be really cool to investigate that. But the guy that's buying the old school from the city they're still closing.
Mhm.
So hopefully, and again, we'll kind of get into some of that. So, all right, so I think this could be a good place where we can talk a little about. We talked a little bit about 2022, and as we get on the back end of the broadcast here, then I want to look at maybe some of the future. So, a good way to start the future is right here, 2023.
Nice. When'd you pick that up?
So this was a gift, from Terry Lynn. So I unboxed it today and thought I'd unveil it. I just kind of wrote in here, obviously, a little bit of information on the slate, but of course love it.
Use a grease pen or a permanent marker?
No, it's just like a dry erase type deal, which is really cool. It's a really good. It's really good. I like it. So,
Nice.
But yeah, so I got my official slate. So that way I can,
Clean slate.
do a sound check. So for those of you that don't know, when they see those in Hollywood, that's because obviously they've got everything marked. You can see that they've got the name of the production that is being worked on, because obviously when the editors go to look at the film, they want to know what, because sometimes some editors have multiple projects that they're working on. So at the beginning of the film or each take, you can see the name of the production. Sometimes they'll write which take it is. They'll write down the scene. Usually scenes have they're all marked, because like in screenplays, they'll be labeled. Of course, roll, whether it's a roll of film or or it could be the memory card. Sometimes they do like a file markings, things like that. Of course, director, which camera it is. Now I would just put my camera as a Canon 90D. I was just kind of, but they might actually have certain labels for certain cameras, depending on which angle it is, whatever it is, and of course the date, all that kind of stuff. And they've got other. So this has all the information for editors, and of course the reason for the clacker is to sync audio with video. A lot of times in Hollywood and professional recordings, it's not all just one, it's not video and audio like on a home camcorder. They actually are recording audio separately through fancy boom mics or hidden mics or multiple mics. So that clacker makes that spike in your sound wave, and you can time it either visually with your audio, to the clacker, or if on digital nowadays, you can actually see the clacker, so you can frame by frame edit, cut it to that point, and sync your video and audio. So there you go, a little film lesson for you guys. Carolyn's like, I don't remember buying that. You bought that, honey. You bought that for me. That was part of the stuff. That was when you helped, with some of the documentary rig. Remember? So this is the bad boy right here. Look at this. Love it. Look at this shoulder rig. Oh, hold on.
Nice.
Got to make it look official. Yeah, look at that. Huh?
Nice.
Nice, huh? Yeah, I can't wait. And then we got some more I got to do on the back, which I didn't ask Santa for this year, but I need to get for this coming up here. We got to get the back part. We got to get the battery and the monitor set up. But so the rig is almost done. Now again, This Rode mic won't be on here most likely because I'll be recording other audio, but that'll probably be on a boom or Terry Lynn helped to get. I don't see it right on here, but anyways, guys, I'll have to. I think I already packed it up in my other stuff, but it's it's a lapel mic, so I can. It says no, dear, you bought that and thanked me for it after it arrived. Like I said, you got it for me. It was an early Christmas gift, and I just now unboxed it. So,
you shouldn't have.
huh?
It's like, oh, you shouldn't have.
Yeah. So, but no, she really did get me that other stuff though, for my camera. So I can't wait. This year, we're definitely going to be doing some more filming. I really want to get re-engaged and something. So that, again, this is what we're talking about for the future. So as far as convention goes, I believe I'm still booked for the Hexpo. Hexpo looks like it's going to take place June. I want to say June this year. I want to say it's June. At? It's going to be in Asheville. Let me look here. Huh. The heck? That was weird. Like their site got hacked or something. I don't know if we want to do that then. So, the last I saw, let me look. Let me try one more time. Let me try something else here. Let me look on their Facebook then.
Hexpo is what it's called.
So June 23. So June 23. And normally it's the hexpo.com, but for some reason it's giving me some kind of security warnings. So they might have gotten hacked on that. They might be working that out. But for the longest time they had on Facebook, it's there. But Hexpo, the Gathering, and I believe one of the overall top head people of that is Rhonda Caudell and SRS Paranormal. So yes. All right. Anyways. So yeah. So far, this is when we got. Oh, so Terry Lynn. So here. Now I don't know if she wants. Do you want me to tell people about your heritage? Do you want me to get into that, Terry Lynn? Because I know she doesn't. She's not going to get on here and do it herself. But do you want me to share what happened?
Yeah, I'm not seeing the link for it. I mean, I see the Hexpo one that got hacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, they'll probably get that straightened out. But yeah, so Hexpo the Gathering, it's going to be in Asheville, North Carolina, most likely June 23 is what they're shooting for. They were trying to shoot for spring, so now they're looking at June. So I think June will be definite. So June 2023. Now in August again of 23, we got CreepyCon coming up. I don't know if I'm going to be there. I can't promise anything, but we'll just see. Like I said, we'll see what happens with that. I don't want to jinx into that, but guys, I am going to try to get out there a little more on a few more other conventions this year if we can. We're going to start trying to get more of Terry Lynn's spirit boards out there even more. There is a project I am actually working on right now. It involves some filming, and this is something that Stacy knows about. And I don't really want to ruin that surprise because when I do get this completed, we'll definitely share with you guys and give you guys some of the first opportunities to participate. So I'm excited about that. That's a big thing. And what else do we got coming up in 2023? Anything I can figure out. I'm definitely going to push for doing more field investigations. I know you guys like those. I know you miss them. Later tonight, I am going to do Probably some late streaming. I've got to run up the road before I stream. Unfortunately, I screwed something up with my work stuff, so I've got to go straighten that out real quick, and then I'm going to come back and then get streaming on a video game tonight. I'm not sure which one. I don't know if we're going to get into a brand new one this night or if we're going to stream another one. I have no idea. Now, as far as Terry Lynn goes, so I don't want to. I don't want to share all of too many details, so I'm just going to kind of summarize so you guys kind of get sort of a backstory. So Terry Lynn, my wife, she when she was basically adopted, okay, um, and adopted in a way that it, in the Philippines. So she was left abandoned. So there's really no physical records. You know what I mean? There's the doctor that took the baby in, took her in as a baby. Again, there's just no details. So you know what I mean? Like there's no paperwork. It's not like the United States or something or whatever when there's a lot of ways to maybe track those things down, you know. Uh,
Mhm.
Not so much in the Philippines in Angeles City back then. So, bottom line is she was adopted by, and of course, an American soldier and his wife, who was actually Filipino, like a Filipino Chinese mix, I believe. But they adopted her, and of course, took her back to the States, and you know, of course, she became an American citizen, all that stuff. And she was raised in the South, so she's got a nice Southern accent and does not speak Tagalog. So anytime Terry gets around other Filipinos, sometimes she's like, "I don't speak Tagalog though." So, but that's okay because you know. So for years and years, we've talked and like and as long as I've known Terry Lynn, we've been together since 2005, basically. So all these years that we've talked about her past. Like we tried doing some digging because the only story that she knew was like she was kind of told essentially that her real father was like a Spanish actor and you know whatever. Somehow the doctor may have known the mother and all this stuff, but there's just no records. There's no records, and so Terry Lynn only had to go by her parents, like or her father or whatever. Anyways, so she just had no idea. And we tried to do some of our own like research, like we tried to look up the doctor and back in the day, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing out there hardly. So I surprised Terry Lynn recently with a DNA test, a heritage test. So we did that about a month ago, and the results came in the other day. So I guess Terry Lynn said it's okay to share those results. So, and I thought it was really cool. So, Terry Lynn's DNA results came back. There was 3 extended member hits, and then there was a few thousand distant relative hits. So that was really cool. Um, Now, as far as her makeup, her blood makeup, she is 79% purebred, like Filipino.
Mhm.
And she is also 21% Viking. She's 21% Scandinavian. It's crazy. So she's like 1/5 Viking. So she's a Filipino Vike.
Yeah.
Crazy, but that's awesome. So now I love that. It's and of course the ironic thing is our son goes to Tennessee High School Vikings. Like that's their mascot. I don't know. It was pretty cool. So yeah, there's that. So and then so we shared that information, or now we just shared that. Well, on the 3 extended families, 2 of them were they're all like American, like or living in American stuff. Well, I think there was like one, but he wasn't extended family. He was like one of the top like distant relative listings. And but anyway, she got a hit on like a cousin, like a second cousin removed or something,
Mhm.
like 2.9% match on DNA. But what was really cool is we looked her up and she had a family photo. She kind of looked like her cousin, kind of to us in a few photos looked like Serena Williams. They've seen Serena Williams, so that was really cool. But like then her mom, you could see like a family photo. Her mom, you could see she was Filipino. So we're like, there's the connection. So now Terry Lynn reached out to her cousin, her real cousin. She now has a blood cousin, which is so cool. I love that. Because again, Terry Lynn, all of her life, never knew if she had any blood family, didn't know anything. The only family she had was some through her adopted parents, and so to actually have some real blood relatives now, that's so cool. Anyways, so she reached out to her cousin, and then they talked on the phone. They ended up actually talking on the phone, like because she reached out to Facebook. They talked on the phone, and she told her about her mother. She told her about her grandmother, like her cousin, and then was her cousin? Is her cousin's name? Is it Carolyn? I don't know. Anyways, I'm sorry, but anyways, the mother, the grandmother passed away in 2018. She was definitely Filipino, so we don't, but the mother agreed. They went ahead and got a DNA test and already took it and sent it in. So we're getting ready to find out here in a few weeks how the relationship between the mother and Terry Lynn, whether they're first cousins, because if they're first cousins, then her mom, the one that passed away in 2018, she had a sister named Veronica. Veronica could potentially be Terry Lynn's mother. Wow. Now, I don't know because the way the genealogy is, it's potential. Again, this is all, but the mother's test may resolve some or have some results. Now, the one that potentially could be Terry Lynn's mother has. Did I say Victoria?
Or did I say Veronica?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Victoria. Okay. So now it's Victoria, not Veronica. Sorry. So these names are new. Sorry, honey. But Victoria had like other daughters and like other kids. So one of them, now I don't know if we end up getting a chance to finally talk to Victoria's children, if we can convince one of them to maybe do a DNA test, who knows? We may even get some more confirmation on some things. So that would be a true test there, because if it'd either be a direct link, like, yes, this is a sister, or if it's a close cousin, then we know that there's maybe the link is one more up, or maybe one more generation up. So anyways, it's just really cool that Terry Lynn got to, and like she said, she's always felt like an orphan, like her whole life, even though she had her adopted parents. But you got to remember, a lot of her adopted parents, well, the only extended family from that was the American side of things, and even though Terry Lynn talked American, she didn't look American, so she always felt a little out of place sometimes, and maybe even was treated that way at times. But so I mean, just the fact that, again, I don't want to speak too much on her feelings other than just what I know, but the fact that she got to finally have some blood relatives, I'm just proud. I'm proud of that. Like, I really am so happy for her. It just, it's so cool. It's so cool. I'm so happy for her on that. Because I didn't know what was it going to be. We didn't know, is she going to have, and the funny thing is, it's like, because like in the Philippines, they have like some mixes like Japanese, Chinese influence, of course, because of Japan, the invasion there. But she had 0% of that. No Chinese, no Japanese, like no Spanish, like nothing else, like nothing but just Filipino and Scandinavian. So Filipino Viking. Let's go, baby. Now I know why she has a temper sometimes. That's like me having Irish in me and stuff. Uh, but yeah, I mean, that's cool. So there you go. Now we shared it, honey.
Very
So
cool. That is very cool. It's getting to the point to where you can, you know, do a family tree, and it's really accurate. You're not going by hearsay and a lot of the stuff like that. I mean, a lot of the genealogy things that are available, um, through documentation, it's really limited. I mean, the Mormons are really into it as far as capturing genealogy, but you can only go back so far, and even then, it's kind of iffy. The
right,
best you can do is, get birth certificates and death certificates and obituaries and things of that kind, and try and make the connection that way. But DNA, if you can get that, you know, that's lock, stock, and barrel. I mean,
yeah, I'm excited to see her cousin's mom's results and to see where that links because that's got to be a connection, I'm sure. Because again, when you look at their family, that's the Filipino connection to me. Like that's when you look at the family picture, that's the only Filipino in their family picture. And then of course, like I said, that's they when she talked to her cousin, that was like her mom had her mom, and she passed away in 2018, and they showed a picture of no, I don't want to share pictures, but there was a picture they sent of her grandma, her cousin's grandma, and I can see there's like a little bit of family resemblance. You can see, and that was one thing I know from being with Terry Lynn all this time is like anytime we would come across other Filipinos, sometimes she'd be like, that could be like a cousin, that could be a sister, or sometimes you come across an older, it's like that could be my mom. Now, supposedly, the one that may be her mom, the Victoria, did pass away also. So, but again, we don't know. We don't know if that's her mom or not. Like I said, there still could be another grandparent link above that could branch over to another section of family that we don't know about, and that could be where her mom, like her heritage, relies. Now, there's another cousin in there, and I think where the Scandinavian comes in is there's another cousin who's like it popped up in the extended family, the third one,
mhm.
that had like what was it, 2% or something, or hit, and it was like a very European sounding name. It was like William Fletcher, right? And then but if you look at his family tree, it had a pretty good mix of, but there was more countries than just Scandinavian countries. So that's why I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. But then again, depending on where the bloodline split
Mhm.
for him and branched or hit over to her part of the family, I don't know. I'm just I don't know. That kind of stuff is crazy to me. Um, but I think it's cool. I do. I think it's really cool. And of course, there was like a few thousand like distant relative hits. I thought that was pretty neat. So
Well, I mean, you might want to look into the Scandinavian side. You might find out that she's the long lost heir of IKEA. You know, where
right? So like, if only we could find somebody to pass on these millions of dollars to. If there was just someone in the bloodline. Well, I mean, so now Taylor's like, yeah, but now they got my DNA. They're going to clone me. Yeah, God knows what they're really going to do with our DNA on those tests, right?
yeah,
But I'm going to do it. I am going to do it as well when I get a chance, maybe this year. If I do it, I'll reveal my results on here with you guys and
mhm.
show you guys. Um, Maybe we'll actually pull up the results and I can show you guys or something. I don't know. It depends. Obviously, I'm gonna look at it first myself with Terry Lynn, but I'd like to know my breakout. I do know that supposedly, like uh, my grandmother's grandfather, I think was like Pennsylvania Dutch, which of course Dutch means German. But
Mhm.
and he was originally in the Amish, uh, with the Amish folks, and I guess he got kicked out. That sounds like somebody in my family, got kicked out of the Amish. Um, so I know
Turned
that
on a light switch somewhere and said, "Oh, we got to kick you out now."
yeah, and they, but and I know another customer of mine that she's a genealogy expert, and she looked right at me and was like, "Oh, you must have German, with your blue eyes and stuff like that." She's like, "You must have German in your family." I'm like, "Yeah," and then I said, "And Irish." She said Scottish probably too, judging by everything. And she said maybe even your weight a little bit, I guess. Because I'm fat, I guess that's some Scottish in me apparently. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know what she was trying to go by that, but anyways, I guess that even though my family goes back to like a McFarland clan or McFarland, I don't know if it's with a D or without a D, McFarland clan, but there's the MC. And so I said, well, yeah, I said, I think it's just Irish because it's not MAC. Like the MAC is traditionally more with the Scottish. But she was explaining to me that I guess in the history, and again, and maybe I'm just getting in over my head, and I'm sure the other people, all you guys watching, some of you probably know even more than me on this, but she was talking about how actually even the MC part of the Irish still came from a lot of the Scots because during the potato famine, or like right after when the potato famine happened, a lot of Scots went there to Ireland to basically, boss them around or whatever, and they intermingled. So that's when you really start getting them. That's when the waters start getting muddy, is what she said. So yeah, so I'm sure if I do a test, I'm probably going to have both like Scottish, Irish, German, but it'd be interesting. I'd like to know because I think these are the kind of things that our son should know. Like, hey, I'm Filipino, Viking, Irish, Scottish. I'm pretty much, a little bit of everything, But it's good to at least know those things. I just have to give up some DNA. But I'm like, at this point, I'm pretty sure they got it from the hospital stuff that I've been to. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, we already got all that stuff. So what is this going to do,
Yeah. There's an FBI file for everybody.
What do you mean intermingled? What do you think I mean intermingled, honey? Scottish, Irish, intermingled. They
Yeah.
intermingled. What do you mean?
Yeah. The Romans did a lot of intermingling.
Shut up.
When they took over the world, they did a lot of intermingling. So that's what's actually screwing with a lot of these DNA tests too, because they say, well, you're, Scottish or you're, German or whatever it is, or you're Mediterranean. It's like, how do they know? I mean, the baseline, the Romans screwed it all up. For 2,000 years, they were, coming in and reproducing and then leaving. So,
I mean, I think it's pretty neat to see, and that's what like my grandma said about Terry Lynn too. She's like, Josh, she goes when my grandma found out like her, Terry Lynn's percentages, she's like, she's probably more purebred than most people are going to be. So that's not a bad thing, I guess. So, like I said, she said they're made of donuts. Terry Lynn,
donuts.
don't be. Why are you forcing me in this position? You know it intermingled when I say that they were going around the country and they were fucking, honey. What do you want me? What do you want me to say? They're having sex and having babies that were Scottish Irish babies. They're going around drinking and playing bagpipes after that. All right, so there you go.
Not always with full consent either.
Right. So, all right. Anyways, now that we're past that part of the show, I think. All right, guys, but we're gonna start wrapping things up as we get toward the end of the show. I don't know what's gonna happen with like with this show with Stacy and I and like the talk show part of things. It'd be nice to do this often. I don't know if we still will be able to this year. It just all depends on the projects, depends on Stacy and what he's got going. Maybe we'll be able to keep it up this year every once in a while. Maybe we'll try to do it still. I don't know. I can't promise you guys, but I can just say that I know that I'm going to be working on projects. I know, hopefully Stacey and I will continue being friends and share things and do things together. And he'll come on the show or come on as a guest if we don't continue the show. But whatever you guys want, if you guys want more shows, we'll do more shows. If you guys want us to contact more dead, we'll contact more dead. You want us to do some tarot readings? Well, I can still do that. So, either way, like I said, we'll still do all these things. I've got my ghost hunting stuff right here. We got, spirit boxes and night vision and, flashlights and UVs and K2 meters. Of course, I had it all here because I was, we got all the fun toys. We got all that stuff, camera stuff. I'm going to be doing stuff this year, guys. And I got that special project that Stacy knows about. I'm going to be working on that and hopefully getting that out to you by at least by the end of February. I hope. That's kind of my goal. I'm trying to be realistic on myself, and I hope to have everything at least done by February. That'd be great, and we can roll that out to you guys. I've got a few other projects I'd love to get done for you guys, and trust me, there's one big one I really want to get done. I've talked about it a few years ago. It's like Terrell said, if I don't see Stacy more, I'm going to be pissed. Well, it's like they say, though. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to say. But no, I mean, we'll do more shows. I mean, I'm sure we will. So, but unless somebody keeps making me stream video games every Thursday, then but no, like I got to do that here in a little bit. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, and I'm going to give Stacy a chance to maybe talk a little bit about, again, his final thoughts on the overall year now that we talked about the types of shows that we've done and the future of some of that stuff, and maybe even some of the things that Stacy wants to talk about for his 2023 because he's got his Udemy courses, which you can find the link below. I made sure to put it in there. So if you want to take any of his course, I'll let him explain any of that stuff for you. But guys, I'm just going to say 2022 was, for me, it was okay. There was a lot of great moments. CreepyCon was amazing. I loved it. I think 2023, I'm looking forward to. I'm hopeful. I don't know. It depends if the world is here or not. But 2023, I'm hopeful, and I do have plans. Now, if I can execute them, that'd be great. And if you guys can back me up on them, that'd be awesome. So with that being said, Stacy, I'm going to let you give your kind of final thoughts on past, present, and future.
Well, I mean, this year has been, it's been a year, like, any other year. But, like I said before, we covered a lot. This has been an educational program that a lot of the paranormal shows just don't do. They just talk about their experiences in, the EVPs, and it was really creepy here, and, how much they liked going to, the Civil War, battlefield, or, went to this asylum and, all of that kind of stuff. And they rehash the stuff that they've already done in that way. It's not really educational. What we've done is a lot of educational. And I have a little weenie dog behind me. And that I'm really proud to be a part of, especially the Paranormal Council. Like I said before, with Sean and Bob, brought a lot to the table as far as like letting people know how paranormal really works, and some of the dangers involved, and some of the really exciting things that you can do. And it's a lot of shows don't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bob became demonic, and once Bob went demonic,
with his sound system, with his microphone and all that.
Right. That's what I think
2020,
Terrell said earlier. She's like, Bob went demon. Like, so, uh,
2023 is going to be a roller coaster ride. I'm actually expecting the next decade to be that way. And some people are going to do very, very well in 2023, and some people not so much. And I don't want to be a real downer on all of that, but it really all comes down to how well you're prepared for what could happen. A lot of people don't. They're very in the moment on what is going on. I mean, I can't remember who said it to me, but he said that there's three different kinds of people in this world. There's people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what the fuck just happened. And most people are in the third category. They're very clueless about what's going on until it passes them by, and they're like, "Oh my god, is that real?" It's that surreal, like, post 9/11, is this really happening kind of thing.
right.
And we're going to get a lot of that this next year, because the people whose initials will be WEF will make sure that these things happen the way that they want them to happen. And I
Right.
mean, we've even done the Dowsing Rod stuff with who's really controlling things.
Right.
And the dead are not really happy with this either. So 2023 is going to be a wild ride, and I hope I'm around to share it with y'all.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think like it's really a shame. Like, I wouldn't mind bringing back the Paranormal Council. Like, in all honesty, if we could do the Paranormal Council like every Thursday night, that'd be great. To have that type of discussion of paranormal. I'll tell you now. Again, I don't know. Like, I know this is not going to happen, but like, if I could put together, you know, a Paranormal Council again, um, because I know Bob, his health, and it's really hard for him to do anything like that right now, with that. And again, and it's no like, Bob is amazing. But if we had to find somebody that could stream because Bob couldn't, I would love, as a replacement, I would love to have Philip from Saving Ghosts, Philip Page. Now, I don't think he would do it. Maybe he would.
He's got a lot on his plate too. He's doing a lot
But
of things himself.
he's, but I mean, he's really like, and one of the things that he's been working on recently is like, he took a break, and you can tell he's been kind of struggling with what he wants to do, and then like the way YouTube and the way people, it's tough when you're trying to do genuine things on YouTube. And like, I mean, look at us. It's like, if we were doing fake stuff, if we were doing sensationalized things, we would probably have 20, 30,000 followers right now, at least. But because we get on here and we talk about, for average viewers, boring stuff. For us, we love talking about spiritual garbage and junk and things that people should know. These are like you said, these are educational things that people should know. We do talk about that side of paranormal, but the average audience, they want more shock value stuff on average. They would rather watch fake things on YouTube, or they want to hear stories of ghost stories and things like that. Whereas this is like, oh, we're going to talk about, oh, you guys are talking about cleansing, and you guys are talking about, Pine Sol and things like that. It's like, even though for us, these are things we're like truly trying to help people. Like, we honestly are trying to help people navigate this spiritual realm, but it doesn't sell. And that's I've said this so many times. Like, you go look at some of the best, or maybe, I mean, I don't want to say they're best, but you look at some of the really good actual paranormal investigators, and one of them that I like is Jeff Santos, which he hasn't been on the show. He wasn't on the show in a while, but Jeff, he's the leader of Virginia Paranormal. And Virginia Paranormal, or VAPI, VIPI, Virginia, because VA, the state, and paranormal investigators. So VAPI, like, and like I said, God bless them, and they do okay with their subs and things, but they're not like 100,000 type of channel. They're not like a mega channel, but these guys are great. Like, they do legitimate investigations. When you watch their stuff, I can sit there and watch their videos and I get it. Like, I'm like, yep, this is it. This is what it's like to do these type of investigations. But they're boring. And it's, again, I'm not trying to offend Virginia Paranormal, because, again, I love those guys. They're out there doing the right things. They're doing the things. But it's just that it doesn't sell on YouTube. So, but I am glad that they're out there and still doing it and still representing like real investigations without faking stuff and things like that. But that's my point, is like, if it's real, if it's educational, if it's the real side of paranormal, people don't buy it. They just don't, And Philip, to bring this back to the conversation, Philip was struggling with some of that. It's like he was trying to kind of hit some things to see if it worked. Now, lately, he's really started to get back into the scientific part of things, trying to go back to the beginning. And now he's doing like hypersonic EVP stuff. He's trying to do test environments. He's trying to use the scientific model to actually either have some breakthroughs or, just go back to the basics, go back to the drawing board and not use apps and things like that, but actually going to sort of old fashioned manual EVPs and trying to document and do it in a scientific approach. So I respect him for that. I think that's great. And he's very educated as well. He reminds me a lot like a Sean Carter in that sense. He's also very educated on that. He really likes to get into actual like frequency talk and things like that. So to me, a good paranormal counsel would be somebody like Sean back on here, you, me, and Philip, and me just acting more as the sort of host to the party. And it's not that I can't intellectually keep up with you guys. I can intellectually keep up with you, but I don't use fancy jargon. And I've just got the field studies behind me for all these years of going out, you know what I mean? So, but I love to kind of, bring it into like a layman's term for people and be like, so blah, 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 but I would love for that to be that would be a great paranormal counsel. And I think we could truly dive into some pretty cool topics if we had that panel as well, because even with Bob, when we had 4 people on here that all had some different viewpoints on some things, even though we all kind of generally agreed, it was really cool to see the diverse viewpoints from some of the different angles.
And I think that would be an excellent thing if we could get him to show up. I mean, it's one of those things where everybody's got to coordinate their schedule to, have that sort of thing. And, I hope it could happen.
Yeah.
If it does, I'm on board.
It's more of a wish list, it's more of a wish list now. I mean, I know Sean was running into a lot of things where he was having to go and actually do some spiritual work. I mean, he's out there on the front lines helping people. Like, even though he's not a paranormal investigator and he's more of the church side of things, he's going out to help cleanse homes, to actually combat. He's immersed in spiritual warfare on a much regular basis than you and I. He's out in the battle all the time. He really is. And that's why he started missing some shows, because he had some cases coming up and he was out there battling the paranormal. And so yeah, if we could, and that's kind of why when I came up with the concept, like, man, this is such a great concept to have this panel to really dive into some of these subjects. And but that's why I started trying to do like was it the first of or last of every month, the first Thursday or last month, I don't know. But I figured, hey, if we could at least, yeah, if we could just try to do like the last Thursday, like just agree on, hey guys, so in your scheduling, just know that if you have something on the last Thursday of the month, let me know, because then I can try to find a replacement every once in a while. Because I always thought that that'd be a good concept. Like if somebody couldn't make it, and we have other people that, like when we had Matt from the Paranormal Consultant and other people like that. So to me, it was like, okay, if we have somebody else, awesome, but if we had 4 people, so like I said, if Philip somehow ends up watching this, hey, shout out to you, Philip. If you're interested in coming on the show once a month and doing the paranormal council, that'd be great. Because I tried texting you and you didn't respond. So just putting you on blast because I love you and I wish you would text me back because I miss you, my friend. So anyways, but beyond that, and I know Terry Lynn earlier said Stacy could be part of your team on Phasmophobia. He can't, honey. He can't, because he gets too motion sick. He doesn't play video games like that because he gets motion sick like you. So, so yeah, he can't be on my Phasmophobia team. So I can't even, because I was doing some virtual ghost hunting where they have some ghost hunting games, Phasmophobia and Ghost Watchers, where we got to use K2 meters and stuff. But it's pretty cool. Phasmophobia, like, they actually had the actual K2, and I was able to show that to people, like, hey, I got the real stuff, right here. Even the camcorder, like on there was a lot like this one here, with the night vision and all that. They have the actual, they like on Phasmophobia, they actually have the actual SB7 spirit box on there, and it was pretty cool. So like I said, when I can't be out doing the real thing, I was virtually doing it and getting scared by video game scares. But in any case, guys, it's been late. It's getting late. It's almost midnight. Guys, thank you. Seriously, like from Terry Lynn, and I can even say for Stacy and for myself, they didn't have the SB11. I'm never gonna live that down. I wish if I find it, I'm gonna plant it in your room, and I'm gonna be like, look what you were lost. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know where that thing went. I really don't to this day. I swear to God. Anyways, as I was saying, from Terry Lynn and from Stacy, from everybody that's really worked on supporting this show and putting this show together, the Everything Paranormal show, all the stuff we've done. Terry Lynn's store, BeyondDeVeil Designs on Etsy, to help us get that going. Everybody that supported us at CreepyCon, with the panels, but like all the customers that came by, all the fans, everybody that came by and talked to us. I just want to say that we love you. We want to send that love back to you guys and tell you what a great 2022 year that you've made it for us, as far as just YouTube and things like that. And that hopefully we'll have a great 2023, and we'll try to make whatever we can happen. And the more you guys participate, the more things that can happen. I'm excited. I really hope we see some good things this year. I really do. Now that we finally got past, like, the sickness, the way we were confined to things, and the way society was confined, it really did restrict a lot of things. But now that we can move around more and things like that, I mean, again, we're, hopefully now we will see some more things this year. I'm going to make it a point to start filming more often this year and try to get those out to you guys. So again, from all of us, thank you all so much for a great 2022, and we look forward to seeing you next year. And don't forget, I'm streaming later tonight live, which technically will be the next day. But in any case, stick around. I'll be doing that after a while. Guys, remember, seek the truth. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace.